Previously on What You Fight For.
At this point, we're going to need to find a new patrol leader for the Trout Patrol. Who is your pick for that?
You know what? I would personally say Rowan.
In the 360 degrees around me, in the immediate area, can I find any evidence of coming from that direction?
No, you do see an IKEA, though. You have a visitor here looking for you? They say their name is Rhodey.
There must be blood, and this I knew. Surely there can be wonders too. I cannot leave the cages locked or well enough alone. I can only be myself when I am so far from home. It's the wonders that I'm after, even if I have to bleed and make very rash decisions for the sake of what I need. Dancing kisses on my cheek, it's the wonders that I seek, and I swear I am not afraid.
Okay, welcome to What You Fought For, the podcast where the mice are made up and the points don't matter. We are once again recording from our respective homes, so I guess it might be more interesting to say when we're not recording and the audio is much better. But although I've actually been pretty happy with how good our episodes have sounded doing this, so...
Yeah, the main thing I've noticed is sometimes we talk over each other, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's just going to happen.
Yeah, the combination of losing the body language when somebody's prepping to interject and the slight lag between locations, which, by the way, sound people, great job dealing with that.
Yeah, our editing team is, once again, great.
Yay for editors.
Yay.
Mentioned them a few times on the podcast and linked to them, so check them out. I'll maybe put up another link here soon in our Twitter. Anyway, for more game-related things, Rhodey has appeared on the scene with their trunk of delights. And we're just going to fast forward a bit to where you may have everyone in a meeting room of some kind, and you've got all of Trout Patrol and Rhodey and, let's say, Acorn.
Trout Squad.
Trout Squad.
Yes, that one. And Rhodey says, yes, I've been doing a lot of research recently and trying to figure out exactly what has been going on with me specifically. Hesper's been doing a lot of work on finding history of what was going on with the Black Axe during that time in history, and I think we have tracked a bit down, and I needed to get up here for the we got to get over to Port Sumac here in a month or so anyway for the voyage, so I thought I might run up here and see if you wanted to go on a bit of a hunt with me.
Well, that sounds excellent. I think our primary, plan for right now was just to remain at Lockhaven for a while. So I think you have us. I think we are available.
Okay then. Acorn is like, well, it's good to meet you, Mr. Rhodey. I don't know much about you. I was just told to show up here for this. And Rhodey looks and says, well, I guess for now, you just need to know about me. I'm Rhodey. I do a lot of scouting and worked historically with the Black Axe back during some of the wars down at the fights with the weasels down in Appleloft and such. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's incredible. I've heard stories of the Black Axe, and that's mostly what we have to go off of right now. So hopefully we can find a bit more what's going on, because the Black Axe hasn't been seen in over 15 years at this point.
Pretty much since that battle, right?
Yeah, well, not long after that battle anyway, was the last thing that we had seen of them. Although I did hear a rumor that they may have made another appearance last summer.
Oh, I think I heard that rumor.
Somewhere in a new, a discovered colony north of Copperwood.
Yeah, because we're a bit smaller in that story, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. He starts making notes in a notepad that he has in front of him. Acorn's looking down and is like, I don't really recognize what you're writing there. Oh, I kind of see the structure, though.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Looks
I
at
have to show
paper.
Akron some of my letters from Chris.
Matrix screen appears.
The floating numbers.
Yeah, but I think we might be able to find something up in Wild Seed.
I don't think we've been there yet.
Yeah, it's not really on the way to Port Sumac. I don't think there's a connecting road over to Darkwater, but it's kind of in that general direction anyway.
Yeah, it's not too far away. Northeast of Lockhaven.
And, right, Acorn looks up at Rowan and says, I thought that Mr. Duffy said that we were supposed to stay here.
I will certainly check with Mr. Duffy and see if it's okay for us to go out, but this is of great interest to me personally.
Oh, I see. And since you're the leader now, I guess we just kind of do what you want. Okay, cool.
I mean, not really, but I will certainly be arguing that we be allowed to help Rhodey out.
So if I was leader, we could go on several candy-oriented missions. Okay, interesting.
If it ever happens, we'll have to see. I think you need to earn your cloak first, little one.
You gotta sleep sometime, Rowan. Oh, nothing. Would you like a candy?
I see. Have to keep an eye on you then. Been working with the Ravens, getting all kinds of ideas.
Mr. Cahill's been teaching me very interesting things. Very interesting.
Oh, good.
Kaboom.
I know 82 uses for burlap now.
Yeah. Burlap is a magnificently flexible substance. Fabric, if you will.
Yes. You can make a sack out of it, and then 81 ways to kill people.
Indeed.
Like if you wrap this knife in burlap and then stab them with it, they'll die.
Wrap the whole
Not sure
person
it's the
in
burlap getting that done though.
There's got to be 81 ways to burlap your lover.
Yeah, it's got 99 problems, but burlap ain't one.
Correct.
It was for a while though.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you hijack my burlap.
Yeah, that was the other. That was his lack of burlap.
That's true.
I'm happy about that.
Burlap-a-lackin'. Okay, so what is your plan? Yes, what is your plan here?
Well, I'll go, I guess, check in with Duffy and, make sure it's cool for us to get commandeered into a different mission.
Okay, who are you taking to Duffy's office?
I mean, I figure we can all go.
Sure, that's up to you. Rhodey says, is there somewhere that I could stash this whole mess?
I'm sure we can find a storeroom or something.
And yeah, you find that they're happy to let you put that in the barracks, and he shows you how to lock the wheels so it becomes, it's not going to roll all over the place once it gets in there. And before he does take out a couple different notebooks and transfers them to his pack, and then everything moves off with you there.
Okay. Quick pronoun check on Rhodey? He or they?
Yes.
But not all.
I might not have assigned one to Rhodey.
This is the first time we've met Rhodey in person, because they were around in Appleloft, but they haven't been around since then.
We will say that Rhodey is a they.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, they, them. And we'll put this down in this list next to the other ones. So you roll into Duffy's office.
With the
Well,
homies.
less rolling since you don't have the crate anymore. You mosey into the office.
I think we have to have pockets and big hats to mosey.
And Duffy looks up and is like, the whole Trout squad. And something's a little different. I'm guessing you're not Hesper.
Of course.
And Rhodey says, no, this is Rhodey. You found my book a while ago. We're part of it anyway, and we think we know where the rest is now.
Rhodey would like us to come with them to help them find the rest of their journal, if that's okay.
I don't know about that, frankly. I've been given pretty strict orders to try to keep you guys in Lockhaven here, but I also know that it's probably a matter of weeks before you take off on the ocean.
There's not been a city built yet that can hold me.
Calm down.
Sorry. Yeah. It's one of my regular outbursts. I just thought it should happen by then.
Escape from Lockhaven.
Mm-hmm. Where's Kurt Russell? I need Kurt Russell.
Didn't you see? The Kurt Russell's been inside you all along.
The real Kurt Russell was the friends we made along the way.
He's like, but Rhodey here is a personal friend to all of us, and I can understand the meaning of this mission. I certainly can't officially say you can leave Lockhaven.
All right.
So I would probably try to, if you were going to, it would be an awful shame if anybody saw you doing it.
Understood.
And
well,
Acorn says, "Well, okay, well maybe we can try some other time then.
We can look for exits from the town which aren't guarded or watched." I want to leave.
Thanks, Duffy.
Cahill and I are on the same page here. Which is terrifying.
I don't think they understand what he said, Mr. Cledwin.
Y'all are cute.
Okay, so you head out of Duffy's office, and what's the general plan here? And I think you should explain it very slowly to Cledwin and Acorn.
Well, I'm wondering if any of Cahill's Raven contacts might know of a way that we could possibly slip away.
Yes, indeed, because it would be a terrible problem if people were to see us leave.
So if we don't leave,
no,
everything's okay.
So if they don't see us leave.
Right, so if we don't leave, no one will see us.
Your answer is logical and correct, as I would expect.
I mean,
we're not going to do that. Or maybe we are. Rowan's in charge.
I assume that we're going. I just didn't feel like we needed to rub poor Duffy's nose in it.
Or we could stay and just spend an entertaining few weeks getting drunk in bars and make Dylan roleplay it.
We could just say no to this mission. We have our orders. We're staying put. Sorry, Rudy.
Rebelled against the GM. Fabulous.
Yes, we're going to strictly follow orders. You showed me. Look, I can make this podcast as boring as you guys want. That's fine by me.
So here's my only concern.
Okay.
We don't want to miss the boat.
Oh, sure. I don't think we're going to be out for that long.
As in the real boat, not the Maxi.
Not the metaphorical boat.
Correct.
Yeah. The literal boat.
We're still, what did Bernie say, a month or two away?
The scheduled date for the boat leaving, I'm going to say, is about 4 weeks from now.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, it's about a 3-day journey from Lockhaven to Port Sumac.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, in answer to what Rowan was saying, yeah, there's very definitely going to be a very simply found contact in the Ravens who can tell me which way to go, because Ravens have to come and go in secrecy all the time. So
right. And I feel like...
I mean, that basically, though, tells the Ravens we're leaving, which kind of defies the whole nobody knowing.
Okay.
Ravens are good at secrecy, though. I feel like they would be okay with that.
Their secrets.
Well, you forget I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Your secrets.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, there's a good chance they'd find out anyway at some point. I mean, they do keep tabs. They do.
But I feel like the risk of
I do feel that I do not want to Hail Mary clonk you guys for something that was mentioned briefly in passing at one point, but the order for you guys to stay here was certainly in concurrence with Cinder. Cinder was concerned that Lena just may have some amount of direct vendetta with you friends. So that's part of the reason that you've been asked to stay at home. So if you go ask Raven pals and Cinder catches wind of it, Cinder will likely be unhappy. But if you want to see if you can get some people and hope they don't tell Cinder, then, that's up to you.
I would prefer not to cross Cinder, so...
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So we can go looking ourselves. Has the town ever been under siege or anything like that during the Weasel engagements? Anything?
There was a fairly famous siege of the city in which old Weasel tunnels under the city were used to
that's what I'm thinking.
Get up into a secret panel which opens up into, I guess now, Morgan's quarters.
So...
Well,
So we sneak through the boss's room. That doesn't sound like a good idea.
I feel like the Black Axe got in and out of places, like, pretty unexpectedly, and don't we have somebody who knows a little bit about that?
That was exactly the route that the Black Axe took.
Yeah.
Should be noted that the clue is in the name there, unexpected and axey.
An unexpected exit.
Mm-hmm.
10 points
I was just trying to make sure that
Gryffindor.
No. I was just making sure that you did not boldly proclaim to your Raven friends what was going on. If you want to take that route, that seems like a perfectly valid route to me. I'm just saying that there may be a role involved.
Yeah, I appreciate the caution.
What do you guys think? Should I go in that direction? Obviously, I have personal career concerns, which I will voice to you, but it really is a group decision. So if it's thought that the best thing to do in this case is for me to go and chat to someone, I will.
I mean, I feel like we can all find reasons to individually be outside of the town. I mean, I feel like the insectorists have, like, stuff that goes outside the walls. There's the hives outside the walls. There's survivalist training outside the walls. The
hives are inside the walls.
Oh, are they? Okay.
You keep your... Yeah.
But insectorists and apiarists are two different groups of people, as we keep remembering.
Right. Yes. Well, that's why I listed them separately. I just thought they were both out there. But yeah, I mean, I feel like individually there's ways for us to leave and just, like, not come back in.
I could certainly venture out for harvesting purposes.
Just meet up out there and then head out?
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility.
I mean, the big thing is that they're going to notice while we're gone.
Well, I mean, you're one of the largest mice in all of Mousendom, so...
You're the one with the high-tech
But if they don't notice until after we've left, then they can't really do anything about it.
Well, until we get back.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, did they specifically say don't go anywhere, or you should stick around?
Duffy's orders were basically like, you need to stay in town for a while till the heat dies down, and that you should stick around and do training and such.
How long will it take for the heat to die down? I mean, if it is viable to actually genuinely just wait for the heat to die down and do some training and then head off out, will the heat die down within the next 3 weeks?
We'll just say that you asked this specifically. Duffy's implication is that you should stay in Lockhaven until it's time to go to Port Sumac, and then go to Port Sumac and get on a boat and leave the continent.
Well, given that our target has been the boat since the beginning of this conversation, maybe we just do what Duffy says on this occasion. I mean, I know it's
in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean,
we're just heading out there a little early.
Okay, well, clearly people want to break the rules. Fine. On this occasion, Cal is fine to sit still, but will of course come along because Rowan's the boss and it's his patrol.
I feel like basically getting Rhodey all the way back together, since we're bringing Chris on the boat, will be good for us in the long run, because then we'll have a very experienced scout along for the journey when we're exploring new lands.
Mm-hmm.
And just generally getting the pieces of Chris back together, I think, is a decent goal.
Well, I mean, how long do we think it'll take? Because we should leave that much early.
And Rudy says, well, I don't really know.
What do you know?
What we've been able to put together here is that it looks like the Black Axe and myself were up there not long after the Battle of Appleloft, fighting off. Looks like there was some sort of large natural beast incursion that was going on up there that we fought off, and that's one of the last known sightings of the Black Axe, and I've investigated several others and have been able to piece together that may be the last one that I don't have a direct follower up on. That's a terrible term. What the hell? That's the last chronological one that we've been able to put together.
So you're saying we're going to a place that the Black Axe might not have got out of?
I mean, it's a town that people live in.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
I'm just saying that that's the last story about the Black Axe that I can find.
Gotcha.
It's about a day's travel from here.
Mm.
if we want to wait a bit and then head up there, that should be okay. We definitely don't want to miss that boat, though.
Right.
Or we could try to sneak up there and do our investigation and come back. Or I wasn't expecting any kind of resistance when I came up here, like you've been talking. I'm not sure what your whole mess is. I don't know much about this person that's trying to track you down, although it sounds like Hesper does.
Right, yes. Yeah, Lena is an acquaintance of ours from, well, she was around during the Battle of Appaloft. She developed a bit of a grudge against someone who came with us on a mission into the Dark Heather. And we've basically been on her bad side ever since, and she's a very dangerous mouse.
I see.
So I think the higher-ups are kind of trying to keep us out of her way. Which I appreciate, but also...
Yeah, that makes sense.
But also I'd like to help you out. I wonder if we could do a best of both worlds sort of thing, hang out here for a few days and see if the temperature falls a bit, and then head out?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good, boss.
Split the difference.
Sure. How long do you wish to wait?
I'm trying to figure out how we would know.
I think under the current
changed.
messaging that you have and the current schedule that you have, that let me write down a number so we can have an actual target to be working against.
Yeah.
Boat is scheduled to leave in 24 days.
Okay.
And
it's 3 days up to Sumac,
it takes about 2 days to get to Darkwater from Lockhaven.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's about a day to take the ferry crossing across. Or you can go the long way and it'll take an extra 2 or 3 days to walk around the bay there.
Right.
The Gulf. So you probably need to leave here in 20 to 21-ish days.
Okay. So I'm thinking if we give things, say, 3 days to kind of calm down. It's a 1 day travel out to Wildseed, and then we have some time to play with there. I would say we want to be back in Lockhaven no later than, 18 days?
If you're back in 18 days, that gives you 3 days to prepare before you need 2 or 3 days to prepare before you want to leave, I guess.
Yeah, and we could get into Port Sumac the day before we sail rather than, trying to cram it all in together.
Right.
So yeah, let's take a few days here and, kind of keep our ears to the ground, see if anything calms down.
Okay.
And
over the next few days, you wait a few days, and Acorn gets to learn about Chris and such. Acorn gets to meet Hesper and Lysay. They talk to them a bit and figure out what's going on. They're incredibly fascinated by exactly how Chris works. I guess just in case there are listeners to the show who aren't 100% steeped in the lore, Rhodey, this mouse that they've been talking to, is a mouse they met a while ago, who every morning when they wake up have effectively lost most of their memory. That mouse is known as Chris, and they have several books that they have effectively put different personalities of themselves into, and they decide which mouse they wish to become and read that book and become that mouse for the day. And usually anytime they go to sleep for an extended period, they lose it all. So Rhodey, the scout mouse that they're mainly dealing with right now, they had found effectively half of one of their notebooks pretty early on in their adventures, if I remember right. I think it was on actually your first mission post barrel that you found that. They later found Chris, who had a bunch of these notebooks, and was able to give it to him, and it was effectively a lost personality that they had found. And Rhodey believes that they're on the track of where they might be able to find some more information on what's happened in their history. So, quick rundown for those of you who may not completely understand what's going on with this unique mouse. So your 3 days have passed, and how are you going to check on if people are cool with you leaving now?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, actually, because I'm not sure that, any news of what Lena and her crowd are up to would get back to us necessarily.
You certainly haven't heard anything.
I'm thinking maybe Cinder would be the most dialed into that, but we also don't want him to know that we are leaving. Any thoughts, Patrol?
Well, I mean, I always have thoughts, but they revolve around violence and rage, so they're not very useful in this particular case. I could make us a nice drink.
I mean,
might help.
I mean, I feel like if we're going to decide that we're done, or like we're just going to head out, I'd like to disobey as few direct orders as possible.
Sounds reasonable.
At this point, we were told we wanted to let stuff cool off. We're approaching when we need to leave anyway. We're just leaving a little early.
I mean, you are currently leaving, even if you're going to give yourself an extra day, about 20 days early.
Yeah.
You never know. Traffic.
Exactly.
There could be a path
There's been a lot
out.
of construction on the roads out there, detours,
fallen tree.
Sure, yeah. Any number of things could happen. We're in late spring, right?
I mean,
yeah.
Unless we want to cut it closer and like coast for a little bit longer if we're not comfortable.
Okay, so is your plan to get effectively all your travel supplies together now then?
Well,
your nautical travel supplies is what I'm talking about.
Oh,
right. Packing for the
journey.
You say if you're going to be leaving for Port Sumac, there's a lot of stuff you need to be taking with you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still like patrols heading up that way, like mail and stuff, right? Couldn't we be sending some of that stuff ahead rather than trying to carry it all on our backs?
Well, I mean, you are going to be given a cart for this, and you will be expected to take mail with it.
Oh, okay. Well, that severely changes the maths.
Yeah, I mean, to get into that, I'm going to just say you start asking around what the plan around that is, and yes, many supplies have been sent up towards Port Sumac, but the plan is that when you head up there, you'll be taking a 2-beetle cart loaded with supplies and such, and any personal gear that you may need to take. It was also expected that you would be escorting whichever Chris was with you at the time as well, since they were going to be heading up.
I was trying to think of some BS justification of getting Chris up to Port Sumac early, but that would also involve us leaving, which people don't want us to do.
I mean, we can just argue we don't want to cut it close. We can finish our hunkering down in Port Sumac.
Well, both you and I both you and I have got boat building skills, right? So we would have a very accurate knowledge of the general kind of stuff you would need boat-wise, right? And
well, not to mention you and I are going to want to get familiar with it before we sail.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff we'll need isn't available outside of the dock area.
So we could make the argument that we need to head up early just to familiarize ourselves with the boat and attain any nautically specific stuff while we're there.
Yeah, it's definitely a more sensible idea.
That all sounds reasonable to me.
I think it sounds reasonable.
Look away from Cahill and over at Rowan. Shrug. Eh?
I mean, you guys know I want to go, so all the arguments sound good to me.
Okay,
perhaps we should send Cledwin in
we...
to explain it to Duffy, since he is Mr. Earnest Face.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I'll take up this quest, just say the word. Even though I am small and I have no sword, a party at the end is not required. And I promise I'll keep trying.
Hi, everybody. It's Dylan the GM. Thank you for listening to our podcast, Whiffcast. You can follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/Whiffcast. That's WYFFcast for what you fight for. Or on Facebook.com at facebook.com/Whiffcast. Again, WYFF for what you fight for. Right now, we're all recording remotely and doing what we can, and most of us are pretty lucky that we can work from home and do what we can, and a lot of people cannot. So I'm actually going to make a call out here. If you can, make a donation to like your local food bank or something. If you can't, that's just fine. Does anyone else have any kind of recommendations for a way that they can help out in their community during this time?
I went and donated blood yesterday. I know way too many people are still not allowed to, but if you can, it's a great way to pitch in. The supplies are really low right now.
That's a great point. If you can donate blood, that is an amazing way. They have lightened up the restrictions on donating blood in this country. It is still kind of bullcrap what restrictions are there, but in this time of crisis, they have reduced that as well. So if you get a chance, go on there. And if you do make a donation of some kind, go ahead and tweet like a picture of your receipt at us or something, and we'll give you some kind of special call out in the show. Anyway, we're going to get back to the show now. If you're listening to these episodes live, keep in mind that our schedule is now once every 3 weeks or so, and may not be exactly that either, given on difficulty. So if you're listening to this live, just know it may be a bit before the next episode, but we're still working on getting them to come out. Thanks a lot. All right, it has been 3 excruciatingly boring days, and you all very much want to leave, and all are trying to find reasons to stay busy at Lockhaven. You've each checked in with your mentors and half-heartedly put in some time on each of your assorted Lockhaven jobs.
Being as I am of a Raven persuasion, and will of course have been around them, have I picked up any kind of scuttlebutt on a wider scale? Things we might have missed?
There is some talk of, I mean, you've really only been back at Lockhaven since everything going on with the cartography station for less than a week. I think almost a week at this point. So like, it's only been a couple days since the initial groups have gone out. In fact, I mean, you've probably, ran into Catrice a few times over the past couple days. But they've all just left, and so yeah, no one's expecting to hear any word back on much at this point anyway. Okay, so what's your plan?
All right, well, I mean, I guess Cledwin is going to try to convince Duffy that we should leave early so that we can better prepare for our nautical voyage.
Okay. You go into Duffy's office.
Okay.
Says, not back so soon, are you? With a big wink.
Yeah. No, we decided that there was some wisdom in, laying low from the danger, but we think that it's probably a good idea to kill a couple birds with one stone, so to speak. As we've been talking about.
Don't let Crowley hear you say that.
Oh, okay. No, I won't. I've become quite fond of the ravens myself. They're very interesting beasts. But as Cahill and I have been talking about some of the needs for the nautical voyage, we both realized that we'd like to get a little bit more hands-on with the ship before we actually set sail, just to get familiar with things. And whilst we don't want to leave a full month in advance, we are approaching a time window where, leaving now, making sure that we can, handle anything unexpected on the road, and get to Sumac a little bit early so we can familiarize ourselves and attain some of the things we need would be good. And we might totally not take a look at some stuff on the way. But not...
I see what you're saying. Sure. There is a bunch of stuff scheduled to head up that direction that you were all flagged to take. I don't know that it's all ready to go right now, but you could work on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I guess, head up a bit early.
Like I said, still want to narrow the window of danger there, but better than doing nothing, don't you think, sir?
I guess if that's your plan, that's your plan. I guess I will say what you've told me then.
All right. I'll get to work on making sure that we're not throwing things off logistically with the stuff that's not ready to go yet.
Okay.
All right.
So you head down to the quartermaster's office.
Yep.
And the large storeroom behind them is fairly bustling with a bunch of carts coming in and going out, and it's down on the ground floor, open to the there's the big double doors that open to the outside for carts to come in and out, and then goes through their general area and then back into the deeper storerooms where stuff's coming in and out. How can I help you today?
Hello, I'm with Trout Squad, and wanted to check.
Trout Squad.
Trout Squad. Yeah, I'm checking to see what the status of the preparations for the sumac wagon are looking like. It's looking like we might go a little bit early and take what's available now, and just have the rest of the stuff come along later.
Oh, well, I mean, we've got several different carts heading up to Sumac. There's quite a bit of supplies heading that way for this big voyage that we're doing. Let's see here. We've got one scheduled to head out in 4 days, one in 9 days, one in 12 days, and then in 15 days, that's the one that we've got marked for you.
Great. Well, I mean, is there any reason why we couldn't switch with the crew of the group that's leaving in 4 days?
Well, I guess you would have to talk with the patrol master and see if they can spare that, if that squad will be ready then.
That'd be Duffy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's lucky.
Alrighty. Will do. So,
okay.
You don't have a preference on that. We can just swap out the crews as long as Duffy and the rest of the crew is on board.
Yes.
Great.
As long as everything can head out, we have scheduled. Logistics is a bunch of moving pieces, and we've got who is supposed to be here at assorted times, and when groups are going to be coming in, and this was the current schedule.
Well, I'm sure they'd like some R&R in Lockhaven, but I'll make sure that gets cleared. What's the name of the squad?
The one that's supposed to go out in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be Hedgehog.
Hedgehog.
which has, oh boy, that was the wrong thing to say. I was looking above instead of below. Whew. Hedgehog is Duffy's old.
Oh dear,
patrol.
Right.
Right.
I meant Clover. I was looking at my list of patrols here and looked at above instead of below. Yeah, that would be Clover.
Clover,
Patrol.
all right. We know those guys.
Clover?
Okay. Thank you. I'll take care of it from here.
Okay.
All right. I'll jog back over to Duffy.
And you're back.
Hey, it actually looks like Wagon's going to be ready to go in 4 days. You think Clover would like a couple weeks off to rest and recuperate? They can take our slot in a couple of weeks.
Well, I think we've got Clover scheduled. Let me see here. Yeah, Clover is going to be, once they get back from Port Sumac, they are supposed to be headed down to Shorestone.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean that they would not be around to take your cart there.
Mm.
Or they'd be getting to Shorestone later.
No, they'll be in Shorestone in 15 days.
Oh, I mean, they were going to leave in 4 days. And in this, they
For
leave
Port
in
Sumac.
a couple of weeks.
They're going to leave in 4 days for Port Sumac.
Yep.
Then they're going to come back from Port Sumac.
Yep.
And then they're going to be headed down to Shorestone for a couple weeks.
Right. And you're saying that the Shorestone deployment can't wait a couple of weeks.
Well, I'm trying to run like 15 different patrols here.
Well,
And,
I'll tell you,
if
if you just prefer to send a different group to take our wagon, that would also work.
I don't know that I've got a patrol to spare that can do that right now.
That's a very difficult mouse.
I feel like I need to look at a calendar to figure this out.
Well, I mean, I think I may have a solution for this. Let me go talk to Rowan. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I go and find Rowan.
Okay. What's up?
So, Rowan, how do you feel about us taking 2 wagons? I think I got us cleared to get us out in 4 days, but then we'd have to get the wagon to Sumac, do our mission, and then get back here to take our regular slot with the wagon that's going up to Sumac.
Oh, I see. That seems reasonable if the timing works out. Because that
How many
does
days
get
do we
us...
have left?
You are supposed you are currently scheduled to leave in 15 days normally. You
All
were
right.
attempting to take Clover's shipment, which is supposed to leave in 4 days.
Mm-hmm. And it's 3 days there and 3 days back, right?
Yes.
So 4 days.
That leaves us 5 days slack for investigation and mishap.
Get back on day 10. Yeah, that math works out.
Oh, no. 2 days for investigation and mishap because we got to get there, back, and there again. No, just there and back by then. So, yes, 5 days.
Yeah, we're leaving Lockhaven on 15.
But you've also
No, we're leaving Lockhaven on 11.
You also need to get to Wild Seed at some point.
Right.
If that's your plan.
Right, and we got to do that within the 5 days. Basically,
and that's about a day and a half of travel in each direction to there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a direct route from Wild Seed to Darkwater, but there's a little. We can go south from Wild Seed and catch the Lockhaven to Darkwater path, which means we could conceivably stop by there, leave for Port Sumac in 4 days, drop supplies there, and then stop by Wild Seed on the way back, possibly.
That would be a way.
Can I just note that Wild Seed to Darkwater sounds like a particularly dubious martial arts move?
And when I give the news to the quartermaster, I can see if he can't get us out a day earlier.
Yeah, there's that.
I mean, I don't know that he'll be able to, but I can definitely spend my time over the next day or so helping.
Sure, yeah, that gives us more slush time in between the 2 trips.
Let me see what I can do. But, I mean, the main thing is it gets us the clearance. We can get out and have at least some opportunity to learn something.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I think that works.
I'm a little dizzy from all the numbers, but if you guys like the idea, I'll start working with the quartermaster right now. I'll put in the time.
Okay, are you going to go tell Duffy this?
Sure.
Okay. Go into Duffy's office. Hello! So, your plan is to, when you've been told to stay here, leave twice. Like, in full view of everyone, so everyone can see you leaving. I once heard a very cool mouse say that you really needed to not be seen leaving the area.
Ah, yes. But what is the thing people will expect the least? Us being seen leaving from the area. It's a stroke of genius, I tell you. They'll think we're body doubles. Mouse doubles.
They're stunt doubles.
I suppose we don't really have a good answer for why we need to go on the early run and not Clover.
Yeah. All right. I guess that does mess up the idea of getting to the place early, which I do really believe anyway. In that case, sir, I need an assignment that's indoors that explains why we're not out on the yard for the next few days.
Well, I mean, you want an indoor assignment.
Yes, sir.
You've effectively been given an unlimited choose-your-own-adventure 3-week indoor assignment already.
Terrific.
Mission accomplished.
Thank you, sir. I run back.
No problem.
All right. I'm not changing anything with the quartermaster. Clover's going early. We're just sneaking out.
Okay.
All we got to do is make it known.
It was always going to come to this.
But Duncan, in his wisdom, made it clear that we don't have to be missed. We just need to have an assignment that's inside that people know that we're doing, so they're not expecting to see us around.
Good old Duncan. Who's Duncan, by the way?
Donuts.
We usually call him Duffy. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duncan Duffy. The Dunkster. The Duffster.
Big Dunks.
He'd probably be pretty good at that if we have mouse basketball.
Anyway, I guess we're back to the beginning, and I'm feeling pretty stupid. But we're back to just not being seen.
To yes and a lot of stuff here, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I mean, Cledwin always feels like he's not quite operating on the sneaky tactical level that well.
Sure.
So no, that's a thing. I mean, I guess the real question is, do we just want to walk out of here like quietly, or do we trust the Ravens enough to fly out of here?
I will indicate that...
Oh, yeah, the Ravens. We've established that. All right.
Yeah, Cinder is the main person who wants us not to leave.
Well, then here's the thing. We don't need anything for our ship stuff because we're no longer operating under that pretense. We go for a stealthy trip, and we have all our stuff ready to go for when we get back, and we can take our wagon.
Okay.
Yep, that's
right.
This raises a question that
yes,
a very handsome person may have asked about an hour ago. How do you plan on leaving the city?
Well, at the time when we had discussed that, one of the things that had come up was everybody having like something to do near the city but outside the walls.
Sure. You just had your commander reiterate to everyone very loudly that you should be expected to be inside the walls the whole time.
And we're back to looking for
Wasn't
secret
that true
exits.
Wasn't that true when we were doing survival training outside the walls?
It hadn't really been that broadly broadcasted, but sure.
I see. All right, well, I'm out of idea, guys.
You just said that you wanted to have something very specifically pointed out, that you would have stuff going on inside the walls. If you want to change that, that's fine, but...
We haven't covered disguises, have we?
I don't disguise good.
Are you going to disguise Pledwin as 2 smaller mice in a trench coat?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the idea. Or half a horse.
You just hang on to the bottom of a beetle.
You could get your pantomime beetle costumes that you've been working on for the upcoming Harvest Festival.
Oh, there we go.
Now, they have 6 legs, so you, of course, have 3 mice in each of them.
So I know Rhodey doesn't have all their memories right now, but I wonder if they know of a way out since they worked closely with the Black Axe.
I don't really remember much going on in Lockhaven. We were off book. We were never part of the guard, so I don't know that Rhodey has ever been to Lockhaven before.
All right.
There was a pretty famous story that happened with a earlier Black Axe when Lockhaven got invaded. Someone was claiming to be the Black Axe, and the true Black Axe at the time showed up and put that down. But yeah, I haven't been in Lockhaven as far as I know.
So now we're back to sneaking through Morgan's room to find the secret passage.
My vote is in the break into Morgan's office and escape camp, because I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, that may be our best option.
I mean, stuff is going in and out all the time. I mean, we could just hide in one of the wagons. It's not like they're checking wagons on the way out. We're not fugitives.
With a bear up under.
And that certainly is a bit more, you got us, rather than, yes, we're in your highly sensitive personal office. Yeah, in which case my vote goes for that too. I'll vote for anything at this stage. I just want to get out of town.
Yeah, I like Pledwin's idea. And if we get caught, sneaking out in wagons, we can pass it off as well. We've been here for weeks. We're really bored. We need a haircut.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Let's go that way then.
We can always Karen our way out of it, is what
exactly.
You're saying.
I will ask to speak to a manager.
Oh.
Okay.
Your nature is too high for that.
What exactly is your plan here, then?
Yeah, we need to find a truck, don't we? A wagon, that's the word. And disguise ourselves in the back of it with straw or whatever's going. The traditional thing.
I know one that is leaving Lockhaven in 3 days. I know the patrol that is running that wagon.
Yeah,
that's
we
Clover
sure do.
Patrol.
We do. All of this is true.
Can we wrap ourselves in burlap?
Yes, burlap seems sensible.
Okay,
tough.
What's your plan? What are you doing?
Pledwin's thing.
Right. You can't just say that's what we do. I need some specifics so I can perhaps make a test or give you someone to talk to.
What? All right. So I had watched everything getting prepared, and I see that stuff's getting ready to go. So in the interests of, I've already expressed an interest to help out. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to talk to the quartermaster. I'm going to tell him, hey, we're not actually going to switch stuff out. Clover can go as normal, but I see there's a lot of stuff going on down here. Can I help load up the wagons?
Well, absolutely. We could always use someone with big paws.
Terrific. And then as I help, I guess what I'm going to try to do is couch fort this motherfucker. Try to set it up so that there are little nooks, little spaces in between some of the supplies where my friends can hide.
Okay, let's go with that. So
for myself, depending on how high the wagons are, I'm going to try to set up a strap or something underneath so that I can hide under the wagon.
That is probably the best place for the largest mouse.
Yeah.
Is under the wagon. Okay. Probably something between tradecraft
I don't see those words.
Administrator and laborer.
Yay, laborer!
Laborer is getting done.
Yes. So I think what we're going to do here is this is going to be...
Oh, do you want to help with the strap?
This is ultimately going to be an OB 5 laborer check.
Woo!
However, there will be an OB 4 tradecraft check and an OB 4 administrator check, and passing either of those will give you an additional die on the ultimate laborer check.
Ultimate laborer.
Okay.
All right.
As you are trying to... You have a sneaky thing you're trying to do. You're trying to make it look legitimate on the books, and then you need to physically manipulate objects to do such a thing.
Got it.
Okay. Right, so OB4 check.
So the first is going to be the planning out of the sneakiness.
Yep.
So that's going to be an OB4 tradecraft check.
Okay, now, tradecraft is a wise with me.
You also have a skill of tradecraft.
Yes, I do. I have 3. Okay, and it's not as a 4 check.
Yes.
So I will throw in... No, wait a sec. I can't. I can throw something in.
Well, you can throw in 3 dice for tradecraft.
So I will.
You also have traits. Now, traits are an interesting thing that we've not really brought up before in the game.
Yeah.
So you can use traits in a positive way, and when you do that, they will give you an additional die to roll. Now, you should probably only use this if it's what we like to call an important roll. However, you can also use them to your detriment, removing a die from your roll and giving you an entire future check that you can use of your choice during the little used player turn time. And remember, if you fail your roll, that doesn't mean that the thing you're trying to do doesn't happen. It means that there is a complication, or you will incur condition, or there is a twist of some kind.
I can't say that I've heard that before. So
sure.
No. Okay, so I'll throw in an extra die for cunning. So
an extra die. I see. You're going to take the bold method of helping yourself.
Yes.
Which has surely never been done before.
You need 4 successes. You're up to 4 dice.
Now, he's essentially trying to get an OB4 test in order to make my test easier later. Can I still help him?
Yes.
Okay. And so he's making a tradecraft one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. So what are legitimate skills to assist with a tradecraft skill?
I mean, it's a skill we've invented.
Oh, okay.
So we can kind of play dealer's choice on that. Anything that you could have that would be around, like, planning or deception, I think would be reasonable.
I mean, how do you feel about the 3 skills in question reinforcing each other?
The tradecraft is going to inform what the laborer needs to do.
Right. So it feels weird to have laborer help on the tradecraft roll.
Yeah.
Unless the laborer has, a clear idea of the layout of the area that they're going to be laboring in, as it were, and some understanding of kind of weights and measures, etc. If, for example, I were wanting to crawl along a beam to drop out something, it would be handy to ask somebody who worked in the barn if they thought the beam would hold up.
Sure. I will give you a die on laborer.
Woo! 5. Okay, so
Rowan, would
I'll
you
try
like to assist?
I mean, administrator is probably the skill I would offer here.
Yep,
because
that
I don't
seems
think
reasonable.
I have anything. Okay, all right, sure.
6. Okay, right. So 6, looking for 4 successes, right?
Right. Before you do that, do you have any gear that you would like to use to help with this?
There's not much that's obviously helpful here that wouldn't escalate things.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I got up to what? 6 there?
6.
Yeah, 66.
All right.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes.
successes.
So there you go. That's a pass. That gives you a pass in tradecraft.
Fabulous. That's 1 extra die for the laborer aspect.
Yes. And now on to our administrator check.
Yes.
Can I help out with trait here?
No, skills
Oh, it's only skills, that's right.
But you could
It's
probably
only
help
been
out
2
with
years we've been playing.
tradecraft.
Yeah, I could probably help out with tradecraft.
Yes,
We can all
I would
three
love
throw
that.
our skills at this every time. I have a die from Cahill's tradecraft.
All right.
Yep. Now
'Cause-
we come to traits. Now
Yes.
traits are interesting.
I was thinking about using alert to nerf because I'm way too on edge and twitchy.
I would accept that.
And that, I understand, will give me a check to use later.
It does. You've got a whole check now.
Okay. But also I'm back down to 3 dice.
3 dice.
How are we using the administrator?
Cooking
this
the
is
books.
because you need to. You need to make the books look right, the manifest and such. I mean, you're going to be creating a fairly large pocket dimension on this cart,
Okay.
and if you're putting a place for at least 4, if not 5, mice to hide out in, a glance at a normal manifest would make that pretty obvious immediately that something was up.
Well, I mean, I'm more hoping to create several small pockets that people can kind of squeeze into.
And then what would be the total volume of space that would be taken up there?
Well, interestingly, because of the way things get stacked together, there's naturally occurring gaps. So all you're doing is incrementally raising those instead of having a great big empty space.
Okay, if you would like to decline the opportunity for an administrator helper die on the final roll, that's fine.
No, I think you still need to do that because it's not holding as much volume. I just don't know if it's necessarily that much displaced stuff. It might be an easier check, depending. But anyway.
Yeah, we're going to keep it at a 4.
Okay.
I don't think I've
All
got
right.
anything that can help with that particular task.
Okay. And also, I do want to make sure that everyone is aware that if you help with a skill, if you help with a roll and the roll is a failure, that you share, that everyone suffers the consequences of the failure, and that Rowan has taken personal actions to greatly increase their chances of failure, such as rolling less dice than the number of successes they need. So if anyone would like to rescind their help,
I
think
think that would be good. I think you should, yes, because I think I'm going to end up at fewer dice than I actually need for the thing. Right. So I'm at 3 administrator. I'm nerfing with alert. So I'm rolling 2 dice.
Yes.
in search of 4 successes. I got 1 success.
Okay, this is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. No, she did not succeed.
I have failed. I have failed to administrate.
Okay, something will occur then.
Yes. I would expect nothing less.
Pledwin,
All right.
you are going to make a final laborer check here.
Mm-hmm. It's an ob 5.
It's an ob 5.
Or
I've
is
got-
it... Oh, it gives you an extra die. Sorry. I'd forgotten
Yep.
the mechanics.
So, and then we did get 1 extra die, so I'm rolling 6 dice currently.
Yes.
And I can throw you 1 for labor.
7.
Okay.
And
Any help from Cahill?
Different roll.
I've already got 1 extra from laborer, so it'd be a different skill. I was wondering if boatcrafter involves also packing stuff in cargo wise, but I don't know. I think that's more working on a boat, not
That's more the
provisioning
actual
a boat.
boat itself.
Yeah.
Creating a boat.
But I could see something along the lines of building boats,
Oh, you cut out.
structuring boats to have maximum cargo volume or something along
Or I've
those
dropped
lines
again.
within a rigid structure.
Yeah, okay, boatcraft I'll throw if I can.
Sure. Now we come to traits.
Yeah.
Traits are a funny thing.
So Cledwin is actually a pretty thoughtful mouse, and he doesn't want his team to be super uncomfortable.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, so I think he's actually going to take a check from thoughtful as he perhaps squeezes a little bit more space out for his team than he probably should for being stealthy.
Okay, excellent.
Hopefully that results in them having a more comfortable ride.
Do you have any gear you would like to use?
And then after I pack everything up, I smash it with a hammer! No. I mean, it was somewhat tempting to do a quick fortune-telling session to tell myself, what things should I be worried about with our current mission? But no, he doesn't do that. So that leaves me with 7.
Remember, you do have Acorn is equipment.
Acorn is equipment.
What do I use Acorn for?
Wedge
You
him in
try to
between
use
the
him to
boxes.
size up the spaces that you're trying to build or something? Or just as another hand while you're doing this?
Because he is, I think, the smallest of the people you need to accommodate.
Yeah, let's do that.
Distract the other people with candy?
Ooh, there you go.
Yes. Oh no. I think that I encourage Acorn to learn as much about this process from the people in the area as possible. So
A true cruelty.
So they're potentially paying a little less attention to me.
All right. Yes, we'll give you a die for gear from that.
Very good.
All right. This is actually a pretty decent roll. Here goes.
I was going to see if you wanted to try to spend like Fate or Persona first, but
So I've got
looks like
3.
you've got 3 successes.
3 successes.
Which is not 5 successes, you may know.
That is true. You can spend a Persona and use a Wise to reroll all your failures, or a Fate and roll a Wise to reroll 1 failure.
I will roll... I believe I have... Wow, do I only have 1 Persona left?
I think you have 2 Persona.
Okay. Well, I'm going to spend one of those and use my engineering Wise.
Yep.
That sounds reasonable.
1, 2, 3. And reroll 5 of these.
Okay.
Jeebus.
One more.
Okay.
So I only
that's
get
a
4.
labor fail.
Yep, that's a labor fail.
All right.
Wow, 3 ones on that. 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
So you get your little shelter put together. Everybody packs on in a clandestine fashion in the evening before with your basic gear set up, and the cart rolls off towards Port Sumac.
I cannot leave the cages locked or well enough alone. I can only be myself when I am so far from home.
Thank you for listening to the Mouseguard RPG podcast, What You Fight For. Holly V. Begg plays Rowan. Audrey Brandt plays Catrice. Dan Brandt plays Cledwin. Yoan Sanders plays Cahill. And I'm Dylan Exobyte Mayo, your GM. Our theme music is Wonders by S.J. Tucker. Find more of her pixie pirate myth punk folk rock at music.sjtucker.com. Our logo and art is by Ryan Sy. Check out his page at RIANSYGH.com. That's RyanSy.com. The Mouseguard RPG is by Luke Crane and David Peterson. The Mouseguard comics are by David Peterson. Find out more about the Mouseguard comics and the RPG at mouseguard.net.
I'll take up this quest, just say the word. Even though I am small and I have no sword, a party at the end is not required. And I promise I'll keep trying.